Hello again, this is SF Giants Fan Mike coming to you today with my reactions and thoughts on the 2006 Fate Stay Night anime. Okay, guys. What time is it? Yes, that's something I want to play when I get back inside. All right, guys. So, oh my gosh. I just want to say I really enjoyed this. And if I could go back in time and recommend something to myself, would be to after I watch Fate Zero to watch this one. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I did my first Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero, Fate Unlimited Blade Works reaction review, one of the things I was really kind of sad about coming out of Zero was that man, I knew it seemed like Sakura and Ilya were going to be so much bigger characters, but they barely got any screen time. This fixed that in spades, and I love it. Both of them were integral to the plot. Both of them were used in the plot. Granted, they kind of became plot devices and people that needed to be rescued, but at least they were there. Whereas in Unlimited Blade Works, Sakura got sidelined after season one, and then blame. I'm just gonna say it. Fuck Gilgamesh for doing what he did in Unlimited Blade Works. That dude was such a jerk. He will never, never. I do not like that guy. Because I mean, he's kind of arrogant jerk anyway. But for what he did to Ilya, uh, man, that never. He's one of those characters that I will never forgive, if that makes any sense. But watching this series over the course of the last 4 or 5 days, um, yeah, 5 days. I started on Tuesday. Man, it's just been a good ride. I think right now I'm kind of on the high, so I'm not going to say I like it better than Unlimited Blade Works, but the way it flowed, the way everything went down, it really tickled my funny bones. Like I said, coming out of Fate Zero, I expected Ilya and Sakura to be important. They were here. I expected something more to develop between Saber and Shiro, and Saber herself in a Limited Blade Works was kind of a plot device there for a few episodes because of Medea, and I'll get to her later. Um, but man, I like the way it flowed. Like I said in my little thoughts in the last one, I think I put that up on Friday or yesterday. Like the first 6 episodes or so are almost identical. I'm guessing between Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel, those first 6 episodes in the original visual novel were probably all kind of similar because it really takes that a certain point where it has to start breaking differently. I'm guessing. Um, Maybe one day I'll be able to review the visual novel for you guys, or even just the going through all the individual paths and say, "Oh my gosh, this was different. Oh my gosh, this was different." Someday, right? Type Moon, you're gonna release it and take my money. Um. Anyway, guys. So it concluded. I'm going to talk about the conclusion first, guys, just because I really liked it. Okay, so it seems I was right. This is definitely, from what I've read about the Fates route online, this was definitely the Fates route. One thing didn't happen, but I'll talk about that in a moment. I like the conclusion to this one. It is very bittersweet. It is kind of the happiest ending. I don't know what happens in Heaven's Feel, but given that in the first Heaven's Feel, again, I haven't seen it, but I've seen the reviews. In the first Heaven's Feel movie, it's going to be a trilogy. In the first Heaven's Feel movie, Arturia is gonna go alter. That means anything is down for that route. Anything could go down in that route, and that's gonna be crazy. I definitely want to get the Heaven's Feel movie when it gets released. I'm going to be looking for that. If anybody knows the release date, please drop that in the comments for me. Because I definitely want to pick that up with subtitles as soon as possible. Because I am totally psyched for that. Especially after this, after seeing. Anyway, let me just finish about the conclusion. Then I want to talk about Sakura for a second. Obviously, I'm talking about Heaven's Feel, and that's Massage Loose, the Sakura stuff. I don't know how long this could go, guys. I'm totally excited and bittersweet. So much feels at the conclusion of this, guys. But yeah, I mean, this was the happiest. Pretty much everybody, all of the actual people got to live. In Unlimited Blade Works, well, we know what happens to Ilya. In Heaven's Feel, I'm expecting that to be a bloodbath. I'm walking in expecting pretty much Shiro and Sakura to walk out, and that's about it. And maybe not even that because Sakura is Sakura. Um, she she might be it might. I'm almost anticipating a sacrifice play on her part or something along those lines. That again, there's a lot of possibilities there. This one, it is the happier ending, and I'm guessing that's why I'm feeling for it so much. Because after coming through Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, Prisma Ilya, I haven't finished Prisma Ilya. I still want to go through that some more, but I might end up just going to the manga because I'm going to put it truthfully, the anime totally lost me with all that creepy stuff. Um, but I've watched all these animes. I've sat with these characters for so long. It's nice to see that they at least get to go on living. Now, from what I've heard in the lore, Ilya might not have much longer to go. And that's again another plot point I want to talk about. Uh, man, I really should have wrote down like some bullet points, guys, but I'm just kind of talking off the cuff here, guys. Um, Maybe I'll do like a top 10 characters or whatever. That way I'll do something that is more scripted and more concise, guys. Right? With these, I'm just cataloging my thoughts and I'm trying to, in a little bit, I am definitely trying to process this ending. With this ending, what made it so bittersweet though was while everybody lived, all the servants are gone. And the way it ended, it makes it looks like um all instead of being inscribed in the throne of heroes, that Saber is gonna die and she's gonna die and go to heaven or whatever poor their afterlife is. Now, the one thing that kind of tripped me out about the ending, I'll hold on, let me just finish about um, and that was kind of sad because Shiro and Saber made such a great team. I like the way their relationship developed. Comparing it to Rin, I really like the way, even in this, I liked Rin and Shiro's chemistry. They still worked well together. Have a feeling if the the Fate route had a sequel or epilogue or whatever, those two would probably still end up together, just because of again they had a lot of chemistry there. But I can't really compare the two relationships, but they're both really good. I like the way both of them developed. I might like Saber and Shiro's more from the 2006 edition. I don't know. I think it might just be that I just got done with it. Therefore, I'm still kind of in the bittersweet. Oh, they got separated part. Um, and that might be what kind of is elevating it right now. Eventually, I'll get to the point where I could actually rate them, but not right now. Like, took me a long time to be able to see that Rey from Star Wars, Daisy Ridley's character, that she was my favorite female fictional character. Took me a long time because after I literally watched The Force Awakens 6 times in the theaters. I would have gone 8 to 10 times, if not more, because that thing was in the theaters for so long. But I decided to start putting those $8 away this times I was going to go. That way I could buy like the whatever special edition excuse me, whatever special edition DVD Blu-ray combo pack they put out, because I knew I wanted to own it. In fact, I liked that movie so much. I bought it digitally because it came out 4 days earlier. I watched it twice over the weekend. I went Tuesday morning before work when I had to take a no, it was right after work. Sorry. I went right after work to Target and bought the combo pack, the best combo pack I could find there, right after work, and I watched it that night and like a couple more times. I think I've seen The Force Awakens like 15 times, and I'm probably shooting short on that. But what I'm trying to say is, because I was, as you could see, I was really hyped for The Force Awakens. I was really hyped a lot for Rey, but I didn't want to say she was my favorite character. I didn't want to say The Force Awakens was my favorite movie uh, until after my hype had died. Not that I don't still love The Force Awakens. Obviously, Rey is my favorite female fictional character. Um, I mean, she took Psylocke's place. Psylocke had owned that spot for like 17 years up to the point Rey was introduced. And Rey was able to take that from Psylocke. Um, I'm actually wearing a Psylocke shirt. Oh, hopefully she didn't hear me. Anyway, um, one of those weird coincidences because I don't plan these things out. But anyway, it took me a while to officially say that to my mind and to other people, mainly because I didn't want to live off the hype. So I don't want to compare Rin and Shiro's relationship and how it was built up to, and really, I don't want to compare anything Unlimited Blade Works to Fate Stay Night and compare, because right now I'm fresh off of the high of the 2006 anime. And it did great. I am not even gonna lie. A lot of the reason why I might be so excited and so hyped and this and that and excited is because I just finished watching it. I finished watching it. I walked across. I was like, okay, it's dinner time. I'm gonna walk across the street, get something to eat. I walked into the pizza place, looked at the first sign they had sitting on the first poster they have coming in, and realized I had walked into Round Table and they had the King Arthur Supreme pizza on the poster as I walked in. I was like, okay, I'm totally getting that for dinner. Uh, obviously King Arthur Supreme Arturia Round Table. Yeah. Anyway, you guys get it. Um, I totally was like, am I going to go for pizza or am I going to go for Chinese? Yeah, I just have pizza. Then I walk in and I'm like, oh, right choice. Anyway, guys. So again, I'm going to hold off on comparisons. Like I like this better or I like that. But I really like the way right now at first blush, the way Shiro and Saber's relationship went. I really like the fact that even though he did use the twin sword style Shiro, I like the fact that he kind of gravitated more towards, trying to replicate. He didn't. I don't think he was able to replicate Excalibur. It was Caliber or Calibrun or you know, it was the Sword of Selection. Not the Excalibur that which she got from the Lady of the Lake. Um, which is funny because I remember both of those from basic mythology, the Caliban and Excalibur, and I've always seen them in video games, both of them, and I kind of remember them from lore, but I could never place them right. I think Fate Stay Night actually got the lore right. Um, but most, how do you put it? But most King Arthur depictions only have Excalibur. But I'm pretty sure Caliban, or however you pronunciate it, is actually in the King Arthur mythology. I'm gonna have to look that up, guys. But I think Fate Stay Night actually got that right. But anyway, so continuing on here, guys, you get it. I loved the ending. I love the relationship between Shiro and Saber. It's right up there with Shiro and Ren's relationship. Maybe better, but right now I'm too hyped and the ending was so bittersweet because they got parted. Now the one thing I will say from the various lore videos and Wikipedias that I've read, I seem to remember Shiro at some point makes his way to Avalon, which is where Artoria's soul eventually goes, her utopia, as personified by her scabbard, Avalon. He eventually She goes there when she dies, and he eventually makes his way there, kind of like in Apocrypha, where John d'Arc, finds Sieg. Um, and it's really bittersweet because in the 2006 anime, at the very least, they didn't do that. I waited through all the credits with bated breath, hoping something like that would happen. It didn't. And I like that choice. Even if that is canon, that eventually in, the Fates canon, the Fate Path canon, its own canon, um, that Shiro eventually would make his way and find Saber again in the afterlife. That is so awesome. But I loved that the fact that this did not have that, because it is that separation, and it does create that because we again, once you go through Unlimited Blade Works, Shiro becomes, I don't think he becomes a true heroic spirit. He becomes like part of the defense force or something. Like, he doesn't become a heroic spirit like Arturia or Gilgamesh or any of these other ones that got written to the Throne of Heroes. He made a pact for something else, which is what allowed Ren to summon him, backdoor. But then after everything's said and done, he eventually makes his way there or something. I forget how that canon was supposed to work. But again, I really liked that they left that unspoken in the anime, whether or not that part of the canon was even known at that time. Because if this is in 2006, I want to say Fate Stay Night, the visual novel, was 2004. So that was only 2 years prior. That means that was enough of a hit where they decided to make an anime of it and port it to the PS2. So they didn't have a whole lot of time to make extra changes to the lore or whatever. Like, with Marvel, you might get uh, I might tell you, like with Psylocke, I might tell you part of her lore, and then 5 years later, someone, they make a retcon to it. In this case, with Fate, it wouldn't necessarily be a retcon; it would just be adding to the lore. Um, because again, if this is where the visual novel ended, with no extra, notes or whatever, it's not that it wasn't part of the canon. It's not that it's being retconned. It's not that it's being changed. It's that it's being clarified. And as a Dragon Ball fan, Akira Toriyama has done that a lot. Robert Jordan did that a lot. Wheel of Time fandom. You see authors do that all the time. But anyway, I'm going to move on to Sakura now. I've kind of belabored that point a good bit. I think I've been talking now for like 20 minutes already. You can see how hyped I am for this, guys. I was really, really, really excited to go through this, to go through. I get it's not a new story with the same characters in the same time slot, and I kind of get to play with them again, if that makes any sense. Have a feeling, well, going back to Fiat Extella here, I have a feeling this is not going to scratch my itch as much as going back through it. Mainly because I loved going through it with these specific characters through this specific time. And I have a feeling this is not going to scratch my itch like these are. I do intend to go back in there today and doing that, continue my let's play, but we'll see. It's already 7:39. I'm really tired. I I did the whole Pokemon Go thing and did like 3.5 miles after not walking for months. So everything kind of hurts. I'm kind of kind of wiped energy wise, and yet I'm practically taught. I feel like I'm talking over myself a little bit, guys, as I'm filming this. All right, guys. So on to Sakura. Um, and then I'll talk a little bit about Ilya too. After Sakura, I really like that she got fleshed out in this one. She wasn't just the, how do you put it? She wasn't just the helpful, friendly neighbor that she was in Unlimited Blade Works. Here, they did a good job with all the characters, showing that they had a thing for Shiro. In Ilya's case, it was really obvious. She was literally throwing herself at him. But with Sakura, I just like that she had that extra chances to interact with Shiro, and I really like that they had not a romantic relationship or whatever, but I like the relationship that they did have, the platonic part of it. You could tell that Sakura had feelings for him. You could tell that Shiro, again, with all the relationships, guys, with Shiro, you could tell he could easily be swayed one way or the other. Um, in the relationships of things, the way him and Rin interacted here, you could kind of tell that if circumstances had been different, he could have fallen for Rin. You could tell if circumstances had been different, he could have fallen for Sakura. Um, I like that was in there. I like that they kept that part of it, and that was so strong. And I like that gave Sakura some extra character development. Um, I like the fact that, when Rin tried to run off Sakura, she's like, no, I ain't having it. I'm going to help out and you're going to deal with it. Even though we all know that, I think even Rin says something about it uh, in the show where, she was just trying to protect Sakura because, the compound is likely to get attacked. Actually, I don't think it got attacked. Um, we had that. You have that initial fight with not with Lancer, with Archer right outside of it. No, that's right. Lancer does show up there, and that's right. Lancer shows up there just like an Unlimited Blade Works. So the compound did get attacked once, but not again. I want to say the Limited Blade Works had happened again, not just with Lancer that one time. But I'll have to think about that. Anyway, guys, like I said, I liked how Sakura was portrayed. I liked the growth, and again, that's what this did really well. Is that you had this build up from Fate Zero, and this one delivered on it. And again, on to Ilya. Oh, and actually, let me stay on Sakura one moment. One of the things that kind of bummed me out a little bit about Unlimited Blade Works, again, another thing wasn't just their interactions with Shiro, was that Rin and Sakura didn't really get to interact. Now, they had that one scene where Rin's looking in Unlimited Blade Works, that is, where Rin is kind of looking at Sakura or her property or whatever. It is kind of sad. Um, and Ren and Shiro talk about something there. So you kind of get it foreshadowed, but not really delved into. And this did a really good job in that it showed you that yes, they were sisters. Yes, they had that bond. And you see Rin having that bond with her, where she kind of sort of held back when Medea was doing her thing uh with Sakura. She had to attack and she had to attack full force, but she held back just enough where she wouldn't actually kill her sister because she loved her sister. You actually got to see that a little bit, and I liked that. And again, when you're talking about sibling relationships, and again, bad Ilya. Again, I'm thinking of Gigax, How to Survive Harem Anime, and what he says about sisters, even adoptive sisters. Um, don't blank your sister. Ilya, don't blank your brother. Even if it's adoptive. Um, there's nothing wrong genetically with it, but uh man, but I did like I am kind of disappointed that Ilya and Shiro didn't really get to bond as brother and sister. And I don't think it was ever brought up that they had the same dad. Um Again, I'm not sure if this is a Fates problem or a Fate Zero problem. Where they might have retconned speaking of retcons, they may have retconned that in Fate Zero after the anime was put out. So the anime didn't have a chance to put that in. Again, we don't know. From what I hear in the Heaven's Feel route, again, going from things that I'm remembering from Wikipedia's and lore videos that I've read, I want to say they do have brother sister moments in the Heaven's Feel route. So it might have just been that Ilya decided not to go there with Shiro, not to tell him, because I think she would have been the only one that would have had that information. Um, because you obviously see throughout the series, you see that Ilya has a soft spot for him, and it looks like it's just because she thinks he's cute or something. When I think she knows that he's her brother, but also knows it's adoptive, so she doesn't even bother bringing it up. Um, but I did enjoy. Again, this is again for the third time or fourth time or fifth time. This is what the 2006 adaptation did so well, is that it paid some of these things off that you saw through Fate Zero. Given that I watched that first and have been rewatching it slowly but surely, that you see these characters, you see these relationships, and stuff, and you get payoff, at least in the Fates route or in the 2006 adaptation. Um, Let me see. Anything else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, one thing I do want to talk about. I think in my last one I did talk about the fact that um, Hercules kind of jobbed in a limited Blade Works to Gilgamesh, and the jobbing continues. One thing again, this is like one of the few things I can think of right off the top of my head that I really did not like in this anime was that somehow the power of as much as I liked the teamwork between Shiro and Saber, the fact that they were able to take out uh Hercules or Berserker, or however you want to call him. Okay, I get it. They took out one of his lives. That was cool. What I didn't like was that all of a sudden they take one of his lives. Oh, your sword is so awesome. It took all 7 of my lives. Ugh, I'm dead. What? Really? What? I know two things probably got to go into that decision. Well, three things. One is that it is Excalibur, and if you're getting Excalibur shoved into your stomach, as powerful of a magic sword as that is, that I could see that. Yeah, I could kind of see that it could disrupt the magics and stuff. Um, Two, that fight had gone on for a few episodes already. I think that was a second episode it was going into. You don't want to go into a third. Just, I think it was cut down for time. Um, and quite frankly, if they had a fourth path where Ilya wins that, where Ilya actually wins, we need that fourth path at some point. If you have that fourth path where Ilya wins, that only takes the one life, and those two guys are just so tuckered out they couldn't continue to take him on. Then I think at that point, uh, he trounces the remaining servants. Might have problems with Gilgamesh. Um, Given that they didn't even know he was in the fight, so to speak. Obviously, we see that in Unlimited Blade Works, but in Unlimited Blade Works, um, Ilya was in a spot where she couldn't really get away on her own. The way Gilgamesh was doing things, he was very, as much as I complained about Hercules jobbing to Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh did do a good job in that he kept forcing Berserker to jump in front because he wasn't giving a place for Ilya to get away. So he strategically did that well. But if they're in a spot where Ilya can get away, uh, at that point, I think he gets his upcoming. Um, so yeah, like I said, that's one of the few things I can complain about in this is that Berserker Hercules got jobbed again. I mean, I guess the main characters have the plot armor and all that stuff. Because obviously, if Iliad really wanted to, she could have took out uh both Archer and Saber in that first confrontation and walked away with all the lives, right? With all his lives intact, and then taking Shiro. Okay, I'm gonna come protect you. You're gonna go live in my castle now, and there'd have been nothing he could do about it at that point. Um, Wait, is there anything else I want to? Oh man, there's so much in this. I love the way I want to say her name is Tiga, Miss Fukuyumi, I believe. Her last name is the teacher in the stripes. I could never remember. I liked how she kind of was here. She was still her, comic relief self and all that stuff. But I like that we did get a few extra scenes of her. Um, I'm trying to think of other stuff. One thing I will say, they did do a good bait in that I thought they actually killed off Ren. Um, at the end of, I think it was the last episode or the second to last episode, uh, Kotomide and I'm guessing Archer. No, it was only Kotomide. Kide Kotomide? Am I saying that right? The priest dude. That's a not so nice guy. Um, Came for Sakura, kicked Ren's butt. I actually thought as she was passing out that they were gonna take her out because from the wounds she sustained, she didn't have Avalon implanted in her. She should, in theory, have died. Um, but maybe they had healing magic or something. I don't know. That was weird that she didn't die. One of those things that makes me just scratch my head. Um, trying to think if there's anything else I really want to talk about. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that was Medea. Um, Obviously, I like all the servants again in the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Fate Zero verse so far. They have done a good job on all the servants. That was Apocrypha's bane. Because they had so many. They have 14 servants and 14 masters and all this stuff. Two rulers. So you just had too much going on. You couldn't really focus on everybody. But I did want to talk about Medea again. Oh man, she again sets up schemes, has it there for the taking, and then has it taken away from her. I'm not saying that I wanted her to win or that she should have won, especially when Deus Ex Gilgamesh showed up and like saved the day for our protagonist, and he took out Medea simultaneously. And I feel really bad for that lady. Excuse me, because from what I hear in Heaven's Feel, I don't want to say she gets jobbed, but she gets done in dirty. Like she goes out very quickly. Um, and from Unlimited Blade Works, I really did have a lot of sympathy for her. She's not a nice person. She's not. How do you put it? I wouldn't say she's a good person. I wouldn't say she's someone I would necessarily want to hang out with, but she does have that tragic backstory. Not even necessarily from her age of gods or whatever. Just the fact that she got summoned. The person that summoned her to be her master was just a total jerk, and was oh man. Anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that, but she's got that sympathetic background, and between Unlimited Blade Works and here, I think even more so here in the 2006 anime, uh, her and her master had a really cool relationship, and I loved that when Ren and Shiro set the ambush for her master. I cannot remember his name. I'm sorry, guys. I always do this. I could probably think of them if I wasn't recording, but as soon as I try to record, I forget the names. But anyway, guys, I like how when they went to ambush him to see, if he was the guy behind all this stuff. I loved how she kind of used oh man, the words are flying around in my head, like a transformation spell to be like a coat for him, and then she blocks the attack as Ren launched her a curse at him. I liked that whole setup. She's just so awesome. She's a good villain. In that she's really good at scheming, as you see in both the Limited Blade Works and the Fates route. She wasn't that far off from winning. Um, in I'm trying to remember how she lost in the Limited Blade Works. I know she lost. I want to say it was because Ren thought of something kind of devious and was able to get the one up on her that way. Man, I need to go back and rewatch Unlimited Blade Works at some point. Because I don't remember that. But then here to keep it about the 2006 anime, here she straight just gets done dirty by Gilgamesh. He shows up and just wrecks her day. And I will say that is 100% fair. As much as I like Medea, as strong as she seems, when it comes to direct combat, noble phantasm to noble phantasm like that, Gilgamesh is just a bad matchup for her. Especially when she had Saber going up against her assassin, and Saber takes out her assassin. Therefore, Gilgamesh doesn't have to deal with him anymore. She's good at having pawns around her to keep people off her. She can go into direct combat kind of limitedly, at least it seems to me. She's a little more limited in that aspect. I mean, she can handle she seemed like she could handle Rin and Shiro and a weakened Saber, but she couldn't really take on. I don't think she could have taken on Saber at her full, potential. Either, to tell you the truth, one on one. But Medea's cool, and she's another one of those cards. She was even only a 3-star, and I couldn't pull her in Fate Grand Order. I wanted to get her card as I was like pulling different 3-stars, 1, 2, and 3-stars from the different pulls. I had a few of them max limit breaked, and I was just like, wait, why can't I even get one Medea? One Medea. She's supposed to be here on all these. Just my luck on that game. Oh man. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it off there. Thank you so much for sitting through my thoughts, my ramblings, my musings, guys, and my following the rabbit trails. I appreciate it. Thank you guys that have subscribed, that are listening to us. I just got a new subscriber today. Thank you so much if you're listening to this. I want to say I don't want to give out the subscribers' names. I don't know if that's kosher on YouTube, but thank you very much for the new subscriber. If you're listening to this, if you made it all the way through to hear the shout out and the thanks, you guys, if I'm missing anything, feel free to comment. I'm still looking for more information on the series. Mainly right now, I think I've covered, in the Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero universe, however you want to call it. I think I'm done a pretty good job of getting this stuff into me. I am very tempted to by whatever means necessary to get the visual novel. I'm still kind of just hoping uh Type Moon wants to take my money at some point and releases it here in the West. Even like I said, even if they just do a PSN, actually I think some games actually do that with Steam too, where they'll release an older game like a PSN game and then or a PlayStation 2 game or whatever, or release it on Steam. Just give me a way to give you the money and I will give you the money. That's all I want to do. Take my money. Um, but yeah, guys. So going forward, I will be looking for a way to get my hands on the Heaven's Feel movie. I'm going to be playing through Fate Extella. I'm actually going to look on eBay and see if I can find Fate Extra for the PSP. I think it might be worth it depending on what it costs to. All right, I'm back. Sorry, my screen cut out on me. It'd been more than 10 minutes since I messed with it. As I was ending. Um, but just to finish, yeah, I'm looking for just to kind of give you guys a summary of what I'm looking to get into in the Fates universe. Like I said, I'm trying to get a hold of the PSP game Fate Extra. I'm going to continue playing Fate Extella, the Umbral Star. I'm going to see what I can do about getting Heaven's Feel, the DVD or Blu-ray release sometime here soon. I'll be looking for that. Um, Also, the last thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to track down those two new animes. I know Fate Extra is getting an anime. I want to say that started up beginning of this month, but it's not on Crunchyroll. It's not on Verve. Excuse me. My roommate just got Hulu. I will check on there to see if they're doing simulcasts. Um, so I can keep up with them. Again, there's the Fate Extra, and then there's like then there's the what do you call it? The slice of life. Shiro does cooking for everybody. So I'll be looking for those. So I'll have that to review. I'm really debating on whether or not I want to get back into Fate Grand Order. I uninstalled it from my phone and I don't think I backed it up, so I might have to start from scratch again. But at least this time I'll know to live off of friend point summon characters and event characters to go for it. Anyways, thank you so much for taking the time. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any cool Fate stuff, Fate related stuff that I should know about. Still relatively new to the lore. I'm learning more and more every day. And I wanted to, honestly, I think since I started doing this, I haven't done very much Dragon Ball stuff on my channel. Pretty much, I found this and went click. I'm all about the fates. All about the fates. About the fates. Um. So yeah, guys, I will see you guys next time. Have a good weekend or week, depending on when I get this up. All right, guys, have a good one.